Hi, this is Zach Meir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Tuesday, the 1st of August, starting off with the S&P, where we're still looking forward to a potential fresh leg to the upside after that bounce off an RSI uptrend line from back in March. The current support area, 45.20.30 and above that, looking for the index to head as high as 47.20, 47.30 by the end of this month. Obviously, if you're cautious, you want to see sustained price action back above the 4,600 level as a momentum trigger. Moving along to the stocks, and lots of repeats, i.e. stocks that have continued our bullish calls, but starting off with a new name, Archer Aviation, which has gapped up through long-standing resistance from back in March last year around the $5.25 level. Above that, we're looking for this market to head as high as the top of the rising trend channel from June last year, as high as $8.70 by the end of this month. Good RSI bounces above the neutral 50 level, but after the late June bounce at the neutral 50 level, so that does suggest decent momentum is in place. One of the regulars coming up now, Affirm. And here we've got a rising trend channel base from December. Nice bounce for the shares above the rising 50-day line, which tends to be a decent continuation signal. It means that we should be testing not only the top of that rising trend channel from the turn of the year, but also the old peak there from the beginning of February. That hints at a $22.50 target, while we're above yesterday's support zone around $17.50. Fubo is next, and it's got a lot of coverage in the recent past. You'll see why from the daily chart. Basically, it looks like a cup and handle situation, with the handle just breaking out now, and we've managed to look comfortable at post-February resistance around $3.20. Above that, looking for the old target around $3.80, and then a fresh resistance line projection target there up to $4.80, perhaps as soon as the end of this month. Another stock with bounces off the neutral 50 level, both at the end of July, but also back in June. So that does give us some confidence, as does the bear trap gap reversal formation that triggered the whole rally. Moving on to a stock which is on the front foot at the moment, GoodRX, breaking through recent resistance with quite a bang, so around 1780, above 1780. We're looking at the top of that wide rising trend channel from back in May last year, as high as $13.50, and we could see that by the end of this month. Double gap higher over the past month or so, so that's pretty impressive after that bear trap over in May. 50 and 200-day lines both rising, and again we've got that double bounce for the RSI above neutral 50. IonQ is next, and one of the regular updates here. Here we have a situation where the shares are just stretching towards our second target there, around the $19.80 level. Above that, we're looking for as high as $22 by the end of next month, while we remain above the recent support area around 18. So above 18, looking for up to 22 on IonQ. Next stock is one which perhaps not quite as exciting as IonQ, but you never know, might get there. Gap through the 200-day moving average, $3.90. Above that, we're looking for as high as $5.75 by the end of this month, with the bear trap that we had, following the bear trap that we had in April, May, below 2022 support. So it looks as though a nice turnaround is happening there, and we're remaining bullish while we're above the recent July support around $3.60. Nikola has got quite a few mentions here, or appearances here, over the recent past. Here we've got what looks like a U-shaped bull flag, which tends to be a good formation. Break of $2.90 could take the shares up to $4.10 by the end of this month, especially while we remain above the $2.30 zone, which is basically the floor of the recent gap. Opendoor has been one of the big successes in terms of the technicals, and probably on the fundamental front too. Here it looks like we're finally breaking out of this consolidation that we've been in for just over a month. The old target there around $4.80. Above that, looking for an upper parallel of the resistance line from November, as high as $6.50 by the end of this month. Really motoring ahead now on Opendoor. Palantir, one of the stocks of the year, just in terms of what it does, and here Also, after hitting one of the older targets around 1550, we're seeing the shares stretching up to a $20 target, a $21 target in fact, which is a early 2022 resistance line projection. If you found the shares and looking for greater glories, could be that we see 26 or 25.50 at least by the end of next month, especially while we remain above the floor of the gap there around the 1770 level. Again, bounce for the RSI above neutral 50, the second one in about 6 weeks. Plug Power is next, and here the story is one of the shares breaking the 200-day moving average for the first time properly since back in September last year, so this could be significant. Initial target here up to $14, but if we get through that at least over the near term, we could be looking at a much bigger target there as high as $20.70 by the end of next month. The risk reward looking pretty good given that recent support is around $11.60, and we need to hold that, or would like to hold that, ahead of a potential break to the upside and retest of initial 2023 resistance. Moving along to Pelaton, which is looks like it's overcome some of its issues over the recent past. Obviously, the left-hand side of that chart doesn't look very pretty, but we do have a rising 50-day moving average now near the lows, which tends to be a decent signal. We've bounced above the rising 50-day line, so it looks as though that old April resistance line projection target at $11 is a done deal, and then we could see over the next 4 to 6 weeks a target as high as $14.80 or $14.70 maybe, on the basis that we have actually turned the corner after the bear trap that we saw back in May. But the key here is the bounce above the rising 50-day line. On to stock which is also racing ahead, and here it's Rigetti Computing. Rising trend channel base from the turn of the year back in December, top of that channel heading for $3.80, and we're looking for that the longer that we stay above the recent support area around $1.90. So let's see if shares of Rigetti can do that by the end of this month. On to the last three, and all frequent flyers here. First one is SoFi, and beautiful unfilled gap to the upside for this stock. It's exactly what we were looking for. We had a rather ambitious looking resistance line projection there from back in April last year. That was heading for 1175. The high yesterday 1170. So pretty close. You can't get it right first time maybe sometimes, but looking for 1170, and then given the way that the shares have gapped up, we can paint in a fresh target there as high as $14 by the end of this month, while we hold above yesterday's support zone around $10.30, which is also the old June peak as well. So above 10.30, looking for $14 near term on SoFi. The next stock is a meme stock apparently, and has done well despite that perhaps. We had first target there around $2.50, second one which has been beaten now at $4, and above $4 looking for a best case scenario target as high as $5.80 by the end of next month. The overall pattern here, bear trap island reversal, which is one of the strongest signals, so catching out the bulls and then catching out the bears, so full treatment in other words. And the $6 area would take the shares back to where they were back in October, so maybe there is still plenty of upside there. Tilray, I think I covered earlier this week, and it's back again on the basis that we've built for the third day running off the back of the unfilled gap to the upside through the 50-day moving average. Another bear trap island reversal, bullish divergence going into it, so a lot of power there. Initial target there 280, next target as high as 320 by the end of next month, while we remain above the top of that gap down around the $2.30 level. Finishing off with Upstart, which has been one of the successes of this year with this massive unfilled gap to the upside, starting it and then basically shooting up higher from there. Our target in the near term was rather ambitious, $72, and then maybe by the end of this month as high as the top of that gap down from last year around the $79 level. The upside valid while we hold above the old initial July resistance at $61. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.